Chelsea here.
You got Derrick.
Yes, so we are a millennial couple chatting about practicing celibacy. So based off of our first video, if you haven't, make sure you go watch it. We got some really great questions and we thought that it would be fun to answer them in a fishbowl setting. Why do we look like stage? Sorry, that was funny to me. So we will get started. Who wants to start?
I'll jump in first.
All right, you nasty.
Could you not get anyone to sleep with you?
What a way to start the question. Oh my gosh. Okay. We said we'll answer them one by one, so you got it.
So it wasn't that I couldn't get anybody to sleep with me. I didn't want to sleep anybody once I made the decision to be celibate. I wanted to have sex outside of marriage. I wanted to make sure that I did it the right way, and being with Chelsea, I felt as though it was worth it to save myself and make sure we practice celibacy together to have that healthy sex life once we get married.
Okay. All right, this one was partially open. Do you miss sex? I did not miss sex.
Interesting.
It wasn't like, did I think about it? Yes. But did I like miss it? I don't know. Like, that's a tricky question. Don't think that I missed it, but I thought about it. I was ready to have it when I did. I wanted to have married sex, sex with my husband, and have that powerful connection. I feel like I answered it. Hopefully I did.
Gotcha. Let's see what we got here. What do we got here? Do you think the wedding night will be awkward?
Oh, and then update. So we are married. We're gonna post a video about an update with us being married and how the wedding night actually was.
I don't think it was going to be awkward. I wanted to make sure that I didn't have any expectations going into it, so I just wanted to enjoy the moment.
Yeah,
you know, it was something.
Whatever it was.
I knew that God was going to bless us because we honored Him and waited till marriage.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was going to be awkward at all. Did you think it would be awkward?
I didn't think, I'm a quirky person, and I didn't think it was necessarily going to be awkward. I thought more so than anything, I would just be nervous. Because obviously we're entering into a new stage in our relationship, and just like any other stage, sometimes nerves come along with it, and my nerves get bad sometimes. Like, I'm sometimes just a nervous person. I've gotten better, but yeah, so I thought it was more so gonna be just a little nerve-wracking than anything, you know. All right, let's see what we have next. Do you drink around each other? So yes, we actually did drink around each other, but we had a limit of 2 drinks. I think it's important because, you know, alcohol can cause inhibitions. So we discussed very early on, because we both drank as single individuals, and we didn't mind either one of us drinking together. Obviously, you got to drink responsibly, but you know, you get that liquid courage, lust starts coming out. And not to say that you should blame all things on alcohol, because those thoughts have probably already been in your mind, like, let's be for real. But yeah, we decided that we wanted to be very proactive with how we approach things, and we had to set that limitation because we didn't want to ever take it there because of we had one too many drinks. That you have a sober mind and you don't allow the enemy to come in and, you know, catch you off guard.
One of those good boundaries. All right. Do you feel like you need to take the car for a test ride? So we got a similar question like this in our first video, and both of them to me are just as funny. You want to vroom 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 vroom? No. Dang, you want? Can I see how you want to do me?
I mean, if I would have gotten this question like 6 years ago, yes, I always thought I needed to have sex with the person at least one time that I was going to marry first. But then as I got deeper in my faith, I realized that wasn't really necessary.
That's same for me.
And I guess my whole mindset was, once we got married and we started having a sex life, we would, by the grace of God, figure that out on how we can please each other and make sure that we're out serving each other.
Right.
So it was one of those things where, like, even if you're in a relationship, some people have, you probably have, as far as have sex first before your boyfriend, girlfriend, but yeah, just didn't feel the need to take a test drive, because it was one of those things, whoever God had for me, it was like, we'll figure it out, you know?
Right.
Alrighty.
What you got?
Oh, I think this is more of a question for you. Not to say that it can't go on both ends, but I feel like it was asked more so from a male perspective.
Got you. So the question is, are you gay?
Or female perspective.
And so, no, I am not gay. But I think the mindset behind the question is that when you're trying to do something that's different from what everybody else in the world is doing, obviously there's something that's wrong. And I don't think that this should be the mindset because I'm trying to honor God and do something right. It's the fact that I'm just truly trying to do something that protects me and protects Chelsea, because I personally believe that premarital sex would have truly hurt our relationship. And so I think it was something that I wanted to do to get to a healthy sex life once we got to marriage, and then be able to honor God and Chelsea with practicing celibacy.
Yeah, and I think, like, when I think about that question, I feel like men sometimes, like, especially in the society that we live in, men are kind of raised, your sex life makes you a man. So I think that when you pull that out of it, it's hard for people to decipher. And just because I choose to take sex out of it doesn't mean that I'm gay.
I think that's a really good point. So let's see. Should I answer this one, or should you answer? You gave me a question.
Oh, I guess it's really my turn to answer.
Okay, well, there you go.
Do you mess around with each other? This is a really great question. I feel like when you are practicing celibacy, all cards are off the table when it comes to physical contact for the most part. And what I mean by most part, because we did decide to kiss. But anything outside of kissing, and we even had boundaries and limitations with that. If you go back and watch our boundary videos, we talk about that a little bit more in depth. Yeah, like, no, you have to take that out. No oral, no fingering, all sexual things. And I know kissing can sometimes be seen as sexual, which, to an extent, I can agree with that. But pretty much all sexual things had to be off the table.
Right.
Number one, it's not celibacy if you're doing those things.
Right.
And then number two, those are going to make me want to lust for him more, or lust for you more, and want to actually have sex. They're going to get, my mind is not going to be in the right place, ultimately.
I agree. Good answer. All right. Do you think about sex? I did think about sex, and I think the thing was that I had to change the way I thought about sex.
Okay.
Because early on with practicing celibacy, I still thought about it from a lustful standpoint. But then once I got more spiritually mature and going along the walk of celibacy, I had to change my mindset of having to make sure that I had a healthy sex life in marriage. So it was like I tried to study more about how sex was developed for marriage and how to actually make sure that I use my mind to not necessarily say, God, I don't want to have sex or don't want to think about having sex, because I still want to have a sexual drive.
It's normal.
Right.
Yeah, you don't want to pray away your sexual desires and your sexual drive.
But at the same time, I wanted to make sure that I didn't have a lustful mindset moving on the path of purity till we got married.
Yeah.
I think that was the huge mindset shift that I had to have with thinking about sex.
No, that's really good. I mean, I thought about sex. I answered the question, did I miss sex? And like I said, I didn't necessarily miss it. I was ready for it. I thought about it. Yes, I did. Was it all day, every day? No, not necessarily in the beginning, before I even met Derrick. Yes, it was on my mind probably like that. And then a relationship, then yeah, I started thinking about it again, especially when my feelings started to grow for him. And I had to really just make that division between, just because I'm fond of this person, that's turning into love. That doesn't necessarily mean that I have to express my love on that physical level with this person in order to show them that I love them, because there's so many other ways. But I think it's natural to think about sex. And like you said, like thinking about it in a more healthy way and preparing for marriage. Let's see what we have next. Do you kiss? So I feel like I kind of already answered this question, and in some of our two of our past videos we answered this as well too, but still a really great question. Yes, we did kiss. We had to set limits or boundaries on our kissing, because kissing can really turn you on, like the tongue kissing, kissing on the neck, and it was like none of that. We literally had to do straight like pecks, like pecks, and keep it basic. None of the extra stuff, because my mind would go there. The body started to work, basically. But I understand why couples choose not to kiss. You have to do what's right for you.
Right.
It can take your mind there. So you have to figure out what's best for you as a couple, but make sure you're doing it for you.
Right. All right. So,
You took two.
My bad. This is a deep question. Do you watch porn? I tried not to watch porn because this was something that I had to share with Chelsea, and it was actually a struggle that I had. I was actually addicted to porn. And so I had to remove any type of temptations that actually put me in the mindset of breaking that purity. And I do believe that me watching porn was something that was still a sexual sin. And so I had to tell Chelsea, like, hey, I'm struggling in this area. Certain things, certain movies and TV shows I wouldn't watch because it'll still have me triggered to go back and try to watch porn again.
And so, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I had to respect that. Like, it could be literally a simple movie. He had to do that heart check for himself to make sure that he stayed on track. So I respected it at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I think too, from the standpoint of porn, is you're still getting yourself in a lustful mindset. And so once you when you see those physical images, I didn't want to disrespect God, I didn't want to disrespect Chelsea, because I was still lusting after something when I was watching porn.
Yeah.
So I had to make sure that I just stopped and cut it out. I did have some slip ups, but it was from the standpoint that I'm not perfect, and I still pray for forgiveness in that moment because I knew of the addiction that I had.
Yeah. And again, it's really just like with him coming to me, I really appreciated that. And I also saw that as like, I needed you to help me. And so when it came to watching movies or TV shows or even certain songs, it was like, I can't listen to that. And it, just because I was in a different place, I had to, make sure that I didn't cause him to stumble along his journey. Because it's all about, when you are practicing celibacy, steering away from those temptations, because those temptations can lead into you actually acting on things which you want to prevent.
All right.
Let's see. Are you worried about size?
Be honest.
Yeah, no, this is a really good question. I think as females, whether you're practicing celibacy with your significant other or not, this is something that is always talked about, and it's perfect that I picked this question. In the beginning, no, I wasn't worried about size. But then as we started to progress in our relationship, yes, just being honest, I was worried about it, because those fears started to kind of overwhelm me. Like, marriage is lifelong. We wanted our marriage to be lifelong. There's no exit. Once you say I do, this is it. We got to find a way to work it out. And it was like, what if he's too small? And this is supposed to be my lifelong partner, and he can't please me in that way. Not that he can't perform well, but it's not gonna ever be enough. So yeah, those fears really did hit home for me, on and off during our courtship. And it wasn't all the time, but those fears are pretty much the enemy trying to come in and get me off track. Not just to have sex, but just have me thinking
this wasn't it.
So, and I communicated that with him, but it was one of those things where I prayed on it, and I knew that God would just bless me. It would be like a lock and key, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
True. All right, what do we have? Do you feel like you can still be intimate without physical contact? I do, because intimacy does not equal sex. So intimacy is a full, healthy aspect
or just sex.
Or intimacy doesn't just equal sex. Intimacy is the full aspect of your relationship and how you truly express yourself.
Yeah.
So I believe that intimacy is still built outside of the bedroom. So, making sure that you
I like that.
understand, how to communicate with one another, understand what are the likes, making sure that the store.
Speaking each other's love language.
Yes. Perfect. And I think this, as you build intimacy outside of the bedroom, that only heightens the intimacy once you get married inside of the bedroom.
Ooh, that's good. I like it. That was good. Drop that gem. Last but certainly not least, have you had sex before? Oh, it's funny that this is the last question. Especially because I feel like I've kind of answered it along the way. We've answered it in a couple past videos before too. But to answer your question, no. I mean, not no. Answer that completely wrong. Yes, I have had sex before. And so has he. We both were not virgins. And guess what? That's okay. That's our past. And we're renewed.
Right.
So
and I think a thing too is that we don't look down upon anybody who's not practicing celibacy.
Yeah.
And so it's something
been there, did that.
Right. We operate from a grace standpoint because we're saved by grace.
Yeah.
So it's not like we can judge you for anything that you decide to do. So we're not here and please don't take it the wrong way that we're saying that if you are having sex that it's a bad thing. We're not judging you for anything. This was something that we chose to do. And we believe that it worked for our relationship.
Yeah.
And so
I do believe it can work for other relationships as well too, even if it's not faith-based driven. It just really strengthens your relationship.
So, as you can see, that was the last question.
The bowl is
empty.
These are some good questions.
They were some good questions. So we hope that you actually enjoyed our Q&A session.
Yeah.
If you did enjoy and want to, please click that subscribe button down at the bottom. Give us a thumbs up. And be on the lookout for other videos.
Yes, we will continue to make some videos about just practicing celibacy. And we'll have some other videos too. Just dealing with, relationship wise. So we enjoy talking about it. We get
a lot of questions.
Tons of questions, as you can see. So yeah, we will see you guys in the next video.
Peace.